One of the projects that we're going to do in this course is the children's book list. The purpose of this project is to develop a list of quality children's books for the age of group that you are most interested in teaching. This will then become a reference for you to use in the future, and these lists will be shared with the peers in this class. So not only will you have your book list, you will have the book list of all your peers to use as a reference after the course is over. The first task for this project is to think about what age of learner you are most interested in teaching. It can range from infants all the way up through school age. If you're choosing school age, please choose a specific grade level. The next part of your task is to go to the bookstore, go to the library, go online, and begin to browse through literature that would meet the interest and age level of the child or children that you'd like to teach. You are going to find books in two categories. You are going to be searching for 25 books that fall under 5 categories on the left side of the purple box. So the first category is favorite read aloud, and you're going to find 5 books that you would enjoy reading aloud to the age of learner you've chosen. Any 5 books are fine. The second set of 5 books will be an author study, much like you'll see in week 3 of our presentation. You will choose one author and then find 5 books that represent that author. The third theme is actually a theme of your choosing. You will pick a theme and find 5 books that fall under that theme. An example is with our weekly literature sharing in week 2, we shared books in a bug theme. So you'll write your theme on the line and choose 5 books that fall into that theme. On the right-hand side of the purple box, you will find the last 2 categories for collecting books. These books will fall into content areas. If you think to our weekly literature file project, we used books in the areas of math, social sciences, and across the curriculum in other ways. You will pick 2 content areas and find 5 books for each content area. An example would be to choose math and find 5 books you could use to teach math concepts. Another example is to choose health and find 5 books to choose to represent health curriculum. So that first task is choosing your age group and finding 25 books for the 5 different categories we've just discussed. Your second task is to choose one book from your book list. And it may not be a book that I have highlighted or shared within the course during our weekly literature sharing. Once you have chosen your book, you will write a detailed summary of the book. Your summary should include the characters, setting, problem, and solution if it is a fiction book. And if it is a nonfiction book, it should include the specific content and organization of the book. Your third part to this task is to list ways you could use the book across the curriculum in your classroom. This is much like what you do for the weekly literature file, but it will be in a numbered list to 10 or more. As we scroll down to see the rubric, there is also a rubric on D2L that is less of a checklist form and looks more like a traditional rubric, but they will carry the same information. You can see that we haven't discussed one part of the project, and that's labeling your literature. After you've selected your 25 books in the 5 different areas, you will put the author's name and categorize them as fiction or nonfiction for each of your books. When you go up to the second section of books where you have 2 content areas, in that section you will label the title, the author, whether they are fiction and nonfiction, but you will also be required to tell the specific area of the curriculum labeled. I'll show you an example in just a moment. For task 2, you will list the one book you've chosen to do your book description, and you will get a point for each of the 10 ways you use the book across the curriculum. For each project, we'll have a reflection piece, and that will be worth 10 points. As we scroll down, I have an example of what a book list will look like, and you can see that we've put the titles at the top. So under the category of Favorite Read Aloud, you will list 5 books. I've put one just as an example to show you the title underlined, labeled fiction or nonfiction, and the author's name. The second category was Favorite Author. I chose Kevin Henkes. The title of the book is listed. It's labeled fiction or nonfiction, and then we have the author's name. The third category was to choose a theme. The theme I've chosen for this example is zoo, and I've listed the book What Zookeepers Do, which is labeled nonfiction, and it's written by Jack Hanna. Then when we move over to those second areas, you're picking the content areas, and you're picking 2. And if you remember, we have to label what specifically in the content area we would use this book for. The book I've chosen under the content area of math is The Doorbell Rang. It is a fiction book by Pat Hutchins, and this book could be used for fractions, division, or addition. In the area of health, I chose the book How Are You Peeling? It is a nonfiction book by Saxton Freeman and Joost Elfers, and this is a book about feelings. You will add 5 books and under this model for each of the areas, and that's the first part of our project for task 1. Your example for task 2 is based off one of the books on my book list, and I chose Tops and Bottoms by Janet Stevens. I have a short description that includes the categories you'll be graded on, and I have 12 ways to use the book across the curriculum. Try to integrate not only reading and writing skills in ways to use the book across the curriculum, but try to add math and social sciences and other as well. This is your children's book list project. This is something that can be done immediately, or you can work on slowly over the course of the semester. It is due in week 14 of our semester. If you have any questions, please let me know.